Hello there, everybody. Hello out there on YouTube. I am Drak2326, and welcome to my Let's Play of the original Final Fantasy. And right now we're just going through a quick prologue. A great darkness shrouded the world. I love prologues in this kind of thing, especially on this game. It's really helpful to explain it. So we'll be quiet while this goes on. The wind died. Yeah, that looked like the wind died. Let me guess. The sea died too? Oh, the sea raged. Okay, well, somebody had to die, I guess, and then somebody had to rage about it. The earth began to decay. Which means zombies! Actually, I'm not that far off from the truth. Only a prophecy kept hope alive in people's hearts. Of course, that's the way RPGs work. Prophecies are the only things that keep hope alive. When darkness veils the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. Short, sweet, and to the point. I like it. And after journeying far, 4 young warriors did at last appear. Well, how do they appear? You have to create them. In the hands of each rested a mysterious crystal. Was it mysterious to them? Wait, don't answer that. Oh, they're all colored. Okay. It all makes sense now. I mocked the opening, guys, but I love it. Welcome to this Let's Play of the original Final Fantasy. Now, it isn't quite original. I'm not playing the NES version. It's hard to get a ROM of it, or at least a ROM that will work. And I frankly like this version better because it's in 16-bit or probably even 32-bit because it's PlayStation. But yeah, let's get started, shall we? So first of all, you have to create your party. The 4 warriors that get told about in the prologue. That's why I laugh at that, because they don't appear. It's really that you create them and then they appear. Now, people might notice if they're Final Fantasy fans, I do tend, with this game, since there really aren't names to my knowledge, I tend to take characters from other Final Fantasy games and name them after them. So, for example, my warrior is named Bartz, which is the main hero of Final Fantasy V, if you don't know that. Now, for those who have never played this game before, you get 6 choices. Yeah, I think it's 6 choices. You get Warrior, Monk, White Mage, Black Mage, Red Mage, and Thief. I tend to like Warrior, Monk, White Mage, and Black Mage just because that fits for me. And as you can see, I've named my White Mage Yuna, which is from Final Fantasy X. Yes, I like it. Sorry, guys. My Monk is named Young, and that's mainly because... Or, not Young. Yang. However you say it. The only reason I named him that is because there are very few monks in Final Fantasy, and I don't like Zell. So... And then also my Black Mage is named Vivi. How appropriate, considering he comes from Final Fantasy IX, one of my favorite games in the Roman numeral lineup. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and go with this party assignment and get started on our great and grand and glorious journey while we stand there. That works. Welcome everybody to Final Fantasy I. So we start out in the town of Cornelia, and as you can see there's a guard in front of us. We can't necessarily leave because the story will not let us. And this is kind of one of the reasons why I picked the PS1 version over this, because I love the visuals in this game. Don't get me wrong, I love the NES games, but the NES game I didn't play. I watched my brother play it, so I'm not really all that attached. This is the version I actually ended up wanting to beat. Oh, we talked to the guard. Our king is searching for the Light Warriors. You know him? Oh wait, can you be? Please go see his majesty at once, and I'm going to speak really fast. Travelers, is it true that you are the crystal bearers? No, not at all. We just have these things for plot convenience, don't worry about it. The prophecy says, when darkness fails the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. Again, short, sweet, and to the point, I like it. But your majesty, we have no proof that these 4 are the true light warriors. You don't have proof saying they're not, either. I'm just pointing out the logic problem here. Surely it is not coincidence that 4 warriors bearing crystals have appeared now. Sure. Brave ones, I need your help. Please rescue my daughter, Sarah. Simple enough, we like it. Garland, once a knight in his majesty's service, has abducted Princess Sarah. Yes, I'm giving a British accent to the Chamberlain. We have learned that he is in the Temple of Chaos, north of Cornelia, because that's where all villains go, is to a Temple of Chaos. We attempted to rescue the princess, but his powers far surpassed ours. How? I'd love to get an explanation. Perhaps you wish to cross the Northern Strait. The bridge that once spanned it was lost long ago. How was it lost? If you bring my daughter back safely, I will build a new bridge. I am counting on you. You're counting on 4 people you just met. Faith in the prophecy. It's one of those weird things about this game, but I like it. Now, people might be wondering, wait, I just named my characters, shouldn't they be talking in these sex bubbles? This is the NES era, where heroes were kind of silent protagonists, and for some reason Sakaguchi decided to keep them as silent I can't talk today. Keep them as silent protagonists. And I kind of like the fact that he did. Because it allows you to feel epic in your own way, because you are the chosen one, because you're controlling the Light Warriors. But yeah, I love the aesthetics of this game, back to that, and that's why I decided to go this route. So for people who love the NES game, it's not that I hate it, it's just, this is the one I beat, this is the one I'm more loving of. But in the meantime, we now have our first assignment, so we need to go prepare. So we're just going to go ahead and buy some weapons and buy some... Wow, we're actually buying stuff. In Mystic Quest, we only bought, like, seeds. That's all we bought. So, obviously now, training wheels are off, boys. I also love the shop music. It is so corny. Alright, so we just bought a bunch of weapons. Now we're going to go buy some armor. And as you can see, it's classified into its various groups. And if you see the little up arrows, it's obviously an upgrade for that class, that person. And so the shirt, since it's cloth, works with... For people who've played MMOs, you kind of get this. Cloth works best for wizards. Leather may work better for monks or rogues or classes like that. And then the knights will always be wearing mail or plate armor. Now, this was another thing that made the game unique, because you had to buy magic, because there wasn't such a thing as magic points yet, or mana. You only had charges, so you could cast the spell so many times, and as you leveled up, you could increase the number of charges you got. Now, I'm playing the game in easy mode, and again, if people have complaints about it, sorry, but the game goes faster that way, and that's really what I'm trying to do, is I'm not trying to drag things out. And so also we'll be getting a lot more magic charges. Now, white mages are specifically for white magic or, racist magic. I thought we covered this in Mystic Quest. But it's more restorative magic, whereas black magic is destructive. So, obviously our attacker is going to be our black mage, and our healer is going to be our white mage. Another thing that I want to explain in this LP really quick, you're going to see some magic cuts here and there. Like with the Mystic Quest LP, I will not be doing grinding on camera. I just saw no point in doing it. It makes this a lot longer than it has to, but I will not cut out encounters that I consider story crucial, so on the way to a dungeon or something like that. Most of the time, though, I'll be running from them, because there's no point in fighting. I'm already at the adequate level, and I tend to be very conservative with items and health and things like that. So, just to give you kind of the heads up, for people who might complain, why are you running all the time? Or why aren't we seeing you get these levels? Very simple. I don't want to do grinding on camera. I don't see a reason to do it. And on top of that, I'm trying to conserve items, magic charges, HP, as much as I can. Especially early on in the game when I don't really get an item like a tent or a cottage, because I can't afford it yet, which will allow me to rest out on the world map. Now, if there are people here who are watching this for the first time, like, they've never played this game, I would love to know that, because I would love to be able to include some interesting factoids about the game, or about the NES game, for crying out loud. But before we do that, we're actually heading into the Temple of Chaos. So, as the story said, we need to go rescue the Princess of Cornelia from Garland, who apparently worked for the king once, and now said, screw it. So now we're in the Temple of Chaos to go kill him. Because, you know, that's the way it works. At last. In exchange for the princess's life, all of Cornelia and its riches will be mine. Oh, that's why he got fired. That's why he got canned. Pyromonger. Blasted palms of the king! No one can stop me now! I love Garland. Very well. I shall take on all of you! Yeah, good luck with that. Boss fight! You can tell I'm just so worried about this boss fight, right? I mean, you know, this is like the plot crucial one. I mean, it's NES games. It can't be that long, right? Ah. And I love the fact that I picked, I got the spell Diablo 1, or I don't know what it's actually called, but Dia 1, which is white magic that's attack magic. And, of course, it does nothing, because he's not undead. I was bored, what can I say? I'm like, I gotta give Yuna something to do. And, of course, my Black Mage is the one that's doing the most damage here. That will change over time, because the Monk is kind of the bigger physical damage dealer. And holy moly, I mean, wow, that fight lasted an hour, right, guys? I mean, seriously. No, it lasted like 10 minutes. Well, that's the first boss for you. Quick, she's passed out! Draw a mustache on her face! Thank you for saving my life. I am Sarah, Princess of Cornelia. Yeah, I'm gonna be corny with the girl voices, guys. I'm a guy! I can't do those things. Please come to the castle with me. My father will be the most grateful for your valor. So, does that mean we get cake? Because I'd really like cake right now. My daughter is safe. I am forever in your debt. Dang right you are. Lucat's prophecy has proven true. You must be the light warriors of whom he spoke. So I ask you to do what only the light warriors can. Go get donuts? Rekindle the light of the crystals. Oh. Only then will the monsters infesting the world be banished and peace finally restored. Yeah, sure, why not? To aid your journey, I will build a bridge to the north. I'm afraid that is all I can do for you. You can give us a lot of money. Magic items? Seriously, you have nothing? That's okay, we'll come back and loot it later. Excuse me? Yes, I love leaving and then having this happen. This loot has been passed down to the princesses of Cornelia for generations. Garland took it when he abducted me. Seriously, is this like the Hylian royal family? Had you not come, he would surely have put it to some terrible use. Please accept it as my gift to you. It may prove useful. Wait, this is a loot, right? So the most evil thing he probably could have done was start his music career. Maybe play a little rock band? Pretty sure that existed, right? Anyway, yes, this loot is actually a plot crucial element. I'm not going to tell you how, because I remember even as a kid going, what? So I'll keep that to myself. But meanwhile, at the bridge. And he's an engineer, so he said to me, okay, man, we will rebuild the bridge for the Light Warriors to cross. And I'm going to speak really, really fast because I'm Scotty. And now I know I don't sound like Scotty. I'm not trying to sound like Scotty. If anything, I sound more like Fat Bastard. Get in my belly! I love 16-bit sprites. They're awesome. Sir, it is completed, sir! The bridge is now finished, stronger than ever, and I didn't have to break a sweat for my long locks. Wait, what? Alright, now with that done, we now have the bridge to be able to cross into more of the world, because as of this point, we didn't have that access. We could go here to Cornelia, we could go to the Temple of Chaos, but that was pretty much it. And before we even go anywhere, I actually do have to do a little bit of grinding just to be able to get prepped to go to, what's the next town called? I think it's called Pravica? Yeah, Pravica. And also try and get some extra gear, some extra spells, should I need them. The other thing also I didn't cover at the beginning was Resurrection. Resurrection works differently. If people have seen the Phantasy Star LP that I did with Shadowblazer 3000 over at Drak and Shadow, or youtube.com/Drak and Shadow, death in the earlier games worked very weird. And it was the fact that instead of actually allowing your players to resurrect right off the bat, they instead made the concept of churches or cloning labs or whatever, and you had to pay to resurrect people. So, just to make you take death more seriously. It doesn't work, especially as soon as you get a life spell. But that was at least the plan. But as you can all see, you know, this is fairly easy at the moment. So if I have deaths, then sure, I'll use the church, but yeah. And it's churches in this game. And the other aspect of this is that people will notice with this game, after you sleep, you get to save. I'm taking that stuff out because it's administrative stuff. You don't need to see it. It's just one of those things that I want to try and speed things up for you guys. This is more of a story playthrough than anything else. Because I love the story of these games. I am a very big Final Fantasy fan, and no, current games have not dissuaded me. I know that they dissuaded a lot of fans. They have not dissuaded me, because I still think good stories are being told. And I actually like this scene. I love the fact that it gets done later in other games, too. Just have this glorious scene with what I consider to be one of the best themes Nobuo Uematsu has ever come up with in this series. And so their journey began. As warriors of light, the four youths faced a staggering mission and a stormy destiny. News to me, buddy. The 4 crystals they carried remained a mystery to them. In ages past, those crystals had radiated a dazzling light, and for some reason, all 4 heroes lost the manuals to them. The time for heroes is at hand. Darkness must be banished, so the light of peace can illuminate the world once more. I'm not going to mess with that. I'll mess with the dialogue occasionally. That's it. I know for an LP you want to try and make these funny, and I will. I'll make them funny. But there are some serious moments that I love. And I won't mock it. Sorry, guys. You'll get plenty of humor, but you'll also get plenty of serious. Because this is a good game series, and thank you, Hironobu Sakaguchi, for creating it. Even though you're not working on it now, it's still in good hands. And for those who don't know, here's a little bit of trivia. I get this question a lot, even though you can find it online. Why is this... you're a fan of this game series, right? Yeah. Why is it named that? Why is it named Final Fantasy? I'm kind of surprised this isn't common knowledge, but, for those who might be asking, I'll go over it. Hironobu Sakaguchi has a very similar story to a lot of game developers in Japan back in the NES days, where he wasn't very successful. All the games that he was coming up with didn't do very well, and he was basically facing being fired. So he got put in charge of one more game, because Square could only afford one more game, otherwise they were going to go under. So he's looking at being fired, and somebody asked, okay, well, you know, you've got one more chance at a game, what are you going to do? And he looked them all in the eye and said, I think I'm better at telling a story than all the other stuff I've done. And at this point, he'd done 3D World Runner, he'd done the original Rad Racer. That's it. And so this was the last attempt, and he said, I'm better at telling a story, let's go that direction. And got together with Nobuo Uematsu, who strictly does scores for them, even though he's freelance now. And then he also got together with Yoshitaka Amano, who did a lot of the art for the first 10 games. I don't think he moved past that. And what they did when they were creating this game is that they basically called it, since it was a fantasy title, it was his final fantasy. It was his last chance to get into this business. And it was successful. But he liked the name, so he kept it. Obviously, that's what people knew, so he couldn't rename it. So that's why after that, it's Final Fantasy II, Final Fantasy III, Final Fantasy IV, so on and so forth. And the numbering gets even weirder in America, and we'll go over that as time goes on. And also, this is very different from Mystic Quest in the fact that we have random encounters. RPGs were very well known for doing that. They still are. And, you know, like I said, Mystic Quest was kind of training mode. It was holding your hand, it was putting on the training wheels, and letting you enjoy the game while learning. This isn't training mode anymore. This is you have to learn now. And so one of the things that they do is random encounters out in the world. This is a great way to grind, but it's also kind of a pain when you're trying to get through the story, because random encounter rates were fairly high back in the day. They still kind of are, but I would actually say in the PlayStation to PS3 era, they've been a little bit more tolerable. Because I remember in the 16-bit era, there were bad times. Like, you could literally take one step, another random encounter, take another step, random encounter, take another step, random encounter, and it would just go like that. I never really had that problem in the 3D iterations. And people will also notice that I am kind of fighting here and there when I know I can get away with it. If I have enemies that I think maybe are higher than what I can deal with at the time, then I'll run away. Now, I also know that a couple of people might criticize me and go, well, you Final Fantasy fanboy. Yes, I have no qualms about being that. I've loved Final Fantasy since I was a kid. It's one of my favorite RPGs to this day. I still support it, even though I'll agree with you. The games have not been as stellar as they could have been. I think personally Square Enix has had a problem with wanting to follow in the 7th iteration's footsteps too much. But oh well, we'll get more into that in the next part. So this is the end of part 1. Thank you again for joining me on this amazing adventure, and we'll see you next week. I am Drak, and this is a Let's Play of Final Fantasy for the PS1.